integrity. Like, we don't want to try and dazzle them with bullshit or try and hide them and stuff. Our weld procedure is essentially the same thing that Trans Canada uses and a bunch of the other outfits. The only one that does it super detailed out is Enbridge.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a purpose. We gotta have wiggle room. And again, this project's slightly different because we're the GC, and I function as the GC and a gas company rep.
Right.
But that's why we went through and kind of drew out the detail for you. And if you'll remember, there was an explanation. These are the two ways this happens. This, however, is the way I want it to happen. And that's the same thing I went through with Todd. Todd's a senior guy. He has all the experience. The kid's a decent welder, but Todd's the guy. And I did him the same way you and I did. This is what I want. This is how I want it to play out. This is how everything goes. Yep. All right. And the procedure's not going to be super detailed out. It's just the way it is. But again, you don't have to mention any of that.
Right.
Sleeve was installed and welded. Weld passed visual inspection. Weld passed mag particle. It's simple details.
That'll work.
It doesn't have to. You don't have to list out welding was done, altered of procedure, and all that kind of stuff.
No,
like bodes well for nobody, and that's again the reason the procedure's vague. And you can't, when you do the sleeve part of that procedure, what you were looking at and mentioned 6010, you got to mention that for the side seam, but that doesn't translate into the hot end. Like never ever.
Right.
And that one for Enbridge is very similar, except they detail out a lot of the other stuff, but they don't call them out separate. But they lay out a minimum pass requirement that nobody else does.
Yeah.
They don't care what the thickness is. It's got to be a minimum of 5 passes. And I'm like, that's fucking impossible. I can't. There's times where you just can't carry that little amount of metal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but yeah.
Help. Like, and I'm gonna coach you. Like, this is kind of your Felicia report. Like, everybody's reports were very bland and basic until we got to her coding, and then it was like, there you go.
Yeah.
And that's the same way with yours. Like, we're okay with having corrections. We're okay with going back in and editing it. We're okay with, I'll coach you through, listen on the next one. Give me these readings, give me these measurements, do this, do that. Like, that's simple stuff.
Right.
And nobody's turned anything horrific in, which is good. You know, like, there's nothing that I've had to go, all right, we got to completely redact that. We got to start over fresh.
So why are we welding out of, or why do you want it welded out of procedure?
It's not welded out of procedure. It's just these things, like, there's 60 years of putting on metal sleeve, and it's always basically the same way. There's some gas companies, because of weird inspectors, that want you to consume that top edge because they think that that's a stress riser, which is why you sand the corner off, so it's not a stress riser anymore.
Right.
But full strength and all that, which is why you don't want to consume that circumference, that metal in that sleeve. But like I say, Enbridge details out, and it's like they actually give you a measurement from the corner, and they require that you sand that after the weld so that the inspector can measure it.
Yeah, that makes sense there. That way you can verify it. Why do we?
Doesn't for us, but it doesn't for that kid Ryan.
Uh-huh.
He can't control his arc or his puddle enough to maintain the distance required by that.
Yeah.
You know.
I was actually
Sorry.
a slight interjection, but it kind of shocked me. So Ryan is way better than Todd.
Yeah. And, you know, because he doesn't know what he can get away with, right?
Yeah, Todd's definitely welding with that. I know exactly what you'll buy, what you want, and I'm not going any farther.
Yep.
Which is not complaining at all. Todd's definitely in the badass territory.
I think he can be. I think his quantity of what he's done helps him.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like, I wouldn't put him in our category where he could really kind of fuck with an inspector.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of got one trick, and it's, I know this is the minimum, and I can just barely beat that, and he feels like he's winning.
Right.
You know, you'll never get any show off out of him.
I did tell him straight up. I was like, look, I know it's not proper protocol to say this, but I'm a firm believer that a good welder is judged not by his weld, but by his hand torch skills.
Yeah.
I was like, when you cut these sleeves, that was pretty darn serious torch skills.
Yep.
But yeah,
I'd agree.
His torch was dialed in perfect. I was like, holy crap, you don't get that by accident.
Yeah. You and I've worked with guys that are more in the butcher category.
yeah, dull hacksaw blade. So why do we not have a procedure for the in-service weld 7018 all the way out?
Because you can't. You've got to have 6010 for your side seam.
Well, the in-service weld.
That is on the in-service. The in-service is 6010 is your initial pass and your tack-up for your side seams. And then low-high, everything out, low-high hotted.
I don't know. We'll go with that. But I did want to clarify that when you saw me sitting in the truck, that was a completely rarity for this hole. I mean, I know it doesn't matter a whole lot. Felicia thinks she's doing a lot, and I mean the coating she is, but she was lost. Like when I had to go, this isn't throwing her under the bus, this is just clarifying me sitting in the truck. So whenever I went to Oklahoma and was there for the seeding and the haying, she had to observe the digging, and she was clueless. Like, she was completely lost, and I'm like, so, and that's, you know, I mean, she's a coating inspector, so that's not her territory, so that's not complaining at all. But, you seeing me in the truck was me sitting in the truck pouring over the paperwork to make you look good, and that was a rarity. All the other days, I'm out there with them.
I have no doubt, and I guess that's what I'm trying to express to you. Like, I'm not worried about you making me look bad. And in the grand scheme of things, we all look really good at this point, and everybody is exceptionally happy. So, and basically at this point, like when I got over here to Muscle Shoals and was found with this director of operations for Black Bear, it's like word of our success and quality is spreading fast. And
Awesome.
This guy's like old school pipeliner, and he's from that era of old school pipeliners like my uncle, and he's going, right away he starts, well, answer this, what do you think about this, how do you do this? And I go through the deal with him, and he's like, well, I guess Rhonda wasn't messing around. Like, she said, do whatever you do. He's here to stay. His group is here to stay. So if you want to rattle him out, go ahead. I've tried. You're not going to get him. And he was like, she was right. I'm impressed. Fill me in. And he goes, and everything I've heard from everybody out there is that they haven't seen anything go that good. And I was like, well, we try really hard.
Yeah.
Like, we're all about customer service. We're all about everybody being happy. Well, I guess that's why you're here for free. And I was like, well, yeah. But we have ulterior motives. You know that. We're both grown adults. You know why I'm here.
Yeah.
I want the business. I want the work.
Yeah.
So, but it's good, guys like that are getting secondhand information, and it's all positive. We know the negative stuff flows very quickly and very far, and the positive stuff's kind of slow to move, but it's already getting to them. So,
Yeah.
like, don't be as worried. Don't be as concerned. Just kind of stay calm, stay rational. Just, like I say, observe and report. Keep it detailed but simple. Remember that you're explaining this to people that have zero understanding of the work.
Right.
And even the people that do understand the work, they just read between the lines and know what's going on out there.
Well, that makes sense. That'll work.
So,
all right, well, I'm going to get back on the report. I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up as to why there was a little time delay on this one.
no worries.
All righty, well, have fun.
All right, thanks.